Welcome to Ranking Every Commander with the Nitpicking Nerds.
Yeah, we're still doing this. We're ranking every Kaldheim commander from worst to best.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. Don't forget it. Join our Discord. It's free to you. Totally worth it. And if you take a liking to us, you can support us on Patreon. Joe, what are we doing in this video right now?
Well, we're ranking every commander from Kaldheim, the Kaldheim commander product. Both of those combined, we're taking all those commanders and we're seeing where do they stand up? Power, coolness, uniqueness, fun, and art are all of the categories, not in that order specifically, but those are all the categories that we grade by. 10 points for each, meaning power is as much importance as fun.
There's a lot of different factors determining how good a commander is overall. This isn't just power, but you'll see the grade for each individual sector there. And you might be wondering, fit them into what? Well, we've ranked every commander already. Yeah, we already did that. All 1,084 commanders that exist in Magic are viewable on our document in the description. Click the link, you can see it. We've already done all the work. We've already documented every single one of them.
Yes, so now we're just adding in the brand new one. So let's start at the bottom. With the worst of the worst from the set, we've got Sigrid, God Favored, at 865, right above Tetsu Umezawa, and right below Odin Oakenshield. That's right, below Oakenshield. 1 white for a legendary creature, human warrior, 2/2. Flash, first strike, protection from god creatures. 1 Sigrid, God Favored, enters the battlefield. Exile up to 1 target attacking or blocking creature until Sigrid leaves the battlefield.
Wow, I get to exile 1 creature until it leaves? That's terrible.
This card stinks. This card absolutely stinks. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not exciting. The art is really cool if you look at the showcase art. That's what it's called.
Yeah, all right. We're going to get this out of the way now. Kaldheim, the showcase art, is some of the greatest repeated art I've ever seen. Almost every showcase is an 8, a 9, or a 10. So I feel like in the interest of saving time, they're all like home run slam dunks, amazing feats of art. They're really, really good.
Yes, and it boosts these commanders up so high because none of them are mid-tier for art. They're all good.
Yes, they all have like a guaranteed 7 points because I love all the art. I love it. It's so even if the regular art misses, the other arts pick up. We rank art so that the best art is the only one we look at. What's the best art?
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to talk about the regular art because, like we're saying, if you get the best art, how cool can it look? This card can look really cool, and that's about all it's got. Is it looks cool? It's a standard card. Get it out of here.
There's no lore. We're gonna move on. We can mostly skip art for the rest of this.
Yes.
Moving to Raydane, God of the Worthy, above Gorm, below Kalemni at 817. 2 and a white for a 2/3 legendary god with flying and vigilance. Snowlands your opponents control. Enter the battlefield tapped. Non-creature spells your opponents cast with converted mana cost 4 or greater cost 2 more to cast. It is an MDFC, so you can cast that side or Valkmira, Protector's Shield, 3 and a white for a legendary artifact. If a source an opponent controls would deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent 1 of that damage. Whenever you or another permanent you control become the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless its controller pays 1. It's 4 tiny abilities stapled on the same card.
And all of them are bad. They all do almost pretty much nothing. We don't want this card at all on Commander. It's not interesting. I think it's 0 for fun because it's no fun for anybody. You're playing a taxi deck for your opponents, and you're playing...
What do you get?
Nothing.
How do you make their lands snow? How do you ensure that they're playing Storm?
Yeah, exactly. Art, great.
That's it.
Look at that showcase art. What was it? Chef's kiss.
Yeah, a lot of the gods, they're going to have a little bit of coolness factor.
Yeah, literally all of these cards have showcase arts.
Up next is Arnie Brokenbrow. Of all commanders that exist, he is the 762nd best one. He's above Firesong and Sunspeaker, below Ghost Council of Orzhova. 2 and a red for a 3/3 with haste, boast, 1. You may change his power to 1 plus the greatest power among other creatures you control until end of turn. This does not read very excitingly, and it's bad.
It's a really bad card again. The power is not there at all. It's kind of fun, but there's not really too many things. Even if you're able to pump him up to, let's say, you have a 10/10 creature, okay? It's on the field. You have a 10/3.
He doesn't have trample.
What did that do? Nothing? Okay, yeah, exactly. He did nothing. It's not
the only
exciting.
thing I can think of is flinging it.
Yeah, and it's not very exciting. I don't think it is at all. Again, Fearjas are great. He's cool. He's cool for the fact that he headbutts trolls, fights them, the fighting. All that is cool, but I give it a 5 still. That's where I feel. I feel it's still average. People, this is a card that I could see people being like, cool, it's only a 5. I'd give it a 10 million.
Well, just because he's dumb enough to headbutt a troll. I don't know how good that makes you, but who's next?
Next, we have Cole, the Forge Master, right above Widewind and right below Drakuseth. His rank is 747. Red and the white for a 2/2 legendary creature, Dwarf Warrior. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return it to its owner's hand. Creature tokens you control that are enchanted or equipped get +1/+1. Make up your mind, Cole. Do you care about tokens? Do you care about non-tokens? Caring about both doesn't seem to bode well for making a strong deck.
How many equipments and enchantments am I supposed to have to equip my entire team and then get the bonus?
Yeah, it doesn't feel worth it at all. I don't think his card is good. I think it's bad.
Nope. Only notable thing is he's dead. Tybalt kills him after he steals the Sword of the Realms that Cole made for Halvard, the god of battle.
Yep. Art's pretty good. And again, that's like all there is to talk about. There's nothing.
That's why
here.
I said we just skip it.
Yeah,
we're not skipping it. Art's great. It is visibly great.
Next is Morite of the Frost, right above Annex and Symede, and right below Tristani, Discordant. 2 green, blue, legendary snow creature shapeshifter 0/0. Changeling. You may have Morite enter the battlefield as a copy of a permanent you control, except it's legendary and snow in addition to its other types. And if it's a creature, it enters the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it and has Changeling.
It's a 5-mana clone, but it's only your things. It's any permanent, but you don't want to land, so it's any non-land permanent, really.
You don't want to land. You're not going to want super many artifacts. It really only gets an advantage if you're doing creatures.
You can't clone a legendary, because it's a legendary.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's not that strong, which is fine. I think you can have some fun with it. There's nothing really in the lore about this at all.
Nope, he's just exist.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, as far as that goes, we'll just skip to the next one, which is Maha, Bredagard Protector, above Kaho and below Kresh at number 707. 2 green, white for a 2/3 human warrior. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Landfall, create a 1/1 white warrior human creature token. This card's cool. It seems like I like the ability personally. I think it's cool. It's not going to amount to much, if anything. The Anthem is very tiny, and the landfall tokens are very tiny. I find that the landfall tokens really needs to be on like a 1, 2, or 3 drop.
Yeah, this card's not very good overall. I just don't see it. I mean, Anthems are really bad on creatures in your commands, and we've talked about that before. You really need to get something really beneficial like what's her name? Gerina does a really nice pump impression.
Here's the issue. If this card was like 3 mana, I think it'd be pretty good. We have other examples. Like there's Tago at Legendary. He is good. Like that card is really good because it's just landfall, make a thing. It doesn't even matter what it is. You can sack it. You can throw it at people. Whatever. You're going to go for some kind of critical mass loop style win. It's just too much to pay for 5, and then you got to pay 7.
Yeah, and you're getting 1/1 humans. Yeah, you can skull clamp him, but you can't skull clamp him because he's making him bigger.
How dare you?
Yeah, we don't like that. I don't think this card. I think it's okay for fun. Nothing crazy. I'm not going to get super excited when I got my Maja deck out.
No, and there's plenty more to get to. So we'll move on to Ingo Rune Eyes above Lavinia, below Nath at 678. It is 3 and a blue for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, scry 3. When it dies, you draw 3 if 3 or more creatures died this turn. Huh? This is a blue card?
This is a blue card. Why does it care about 3 creatures dying? That's really strange. Scry 3 when it enters is awful. A 3/3 body for 4 is awful. You gotta like make 3 creatures die? Where are you getting these extra things from? You're in blue?
You gotta have some kind of sacrifice. I just don't... How could you ever take advantage of both halves, the scry 3 and the draw 3?
You're not. You're just not going to.
I just don't think this is a commander card, which is fine. Not every card has to be a commander card, but we have to rank them. So guess what? It gets a low rank, and we can move on. Who's next?
It is Harold, King of Skemfar. 1 green black for a 3/2 with Menace. When he enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an Elf, Warrior, or Tyvar card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. 3 mana, enter the battlefield, draw a card. Does that sound playable in Commander?
Well, in his defense, he draws a spell. That's why it's not a 1. It's a 2. This isn't costed for the format very well. If you're like black-green elves, you can do much better. Maybe if you want to play the Tyvar Kel deck, this has to be your commander.
This is like a green-black elves, green-black warriors, green-black Tyvar.
Yeah, I think he's based on an actual Norwegian king, which gives him some coolness points. He's actually one of the bigger players in the story. He's suspicious of Tybalt.
And he united the Wood Elves and the
Shadow Elves.
Shadow Elves. He united them. They've been feuding. They were together at once, then they split, and they were like, we hate each other. And her elf's like, stop, I'm here.
And if he dies, they'll probably start fighting again.
Yes, it does say that. It's specifically, if he dies, they will probably start fighting again.
Yes. Next, Fearja, Judge of Valor. Ranked 533 above Rienne, Angel of Rebirth, below Falthus, the cute little shadow cat. 2 white, black, black for a 2/4 legendary angel cleric with flying and lifelink. When you cast your second spell each turn, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand, and the rest into your graveyard.
What?
Second spell, Anticipate? I guess it's Ransack the Lab, right?
What is this card?
Know. Why do they're making white black look weird in the set. Color pie stuff shenanigans aside, how good is this? Not very.
It's not great. Its body isn't relevant at its mana cost at all. And then on top of that, you got to cast 2 spells, and then when you do that, you get to draw a card and put 2 in your graveyard. Not exciting.
We're counting this as replacing itself. You can play this and anything and get your second spell. But there's no chance you're going to play this, play it like a 0-drop, and then play 2 instants to get it again on someone else's turn. I just don't see that happening almost ever. So we give it a lower ranks for that stuff, and she doesn't really do much other than Judge Valor for lore-wise.
No, she's a Valkyrie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. The MTG Wiki, her entire lore is a Valkyrie. That's it.
Wow.
Cool. Really
what a character.
Went all out for this one. Who's next?
Next we have Renar, the Ever Watchful. Right above Joriel, Empress of Beast, and below Gen. 2 blue light legendary creature, Spirit Warrior, 2/3 flying vigilance. The first spell you foretell each turn costs 0 to foretell. Whenever you exile 1 or more cards from your hand and or permanents from the battlefield, create a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying. Okay, this is a foretell commander. He doesn't really do too much else. You can do some flicker nonsense, stuff like that. He's not awful, but he's not going to really get you any advantage because foretelling for free and then getting a 1/1 isn't really a ton of upside.
Yeah, the exile ability is where this card is randomly good. There's like multiple infinite loops you can do. If you have a Restoration Angel and a Feldar Guardian, they're going to exile each other with their triggers like an infinite number of times, which you can stop. You'll just get an infinite number of spirits. Also, I was digging around, and I think Rest in Peace works with this.
Does it?
Yes. So you have a Rest in Peace and something dies, you just get a spirit.
Oh.
So like Blasting Station, not Blasting Station because it does die, but sack a thing, get a token, or sack a thing, and it's some kind of like repeatable trigger. Well, you're going to win.
Well, that's interesting. I had never thought about that. This seems really fun, though. The Foretell tech and all of the flicker shenanigans seem really fun to do. We're actually working on the pre-con power for this, so look forward to that.
It's coming out. We're just going to fire this Kaldheim content at you.
He's a spirit. That's his lore.
That is his lore. He watches things.
But he's very unique. I mean, what else are you going to get that's like this Foretell, but also a flicker commander? He's Foretell flicker. There's probably never going to be a commander that is both of those again.
Yes. Next is Egon, God of Death. He is 494 above Sasaya, Orochi Ascendant, and below Sir Conrad the Grim. 2 and a black for a 6/6 legendary god with Death Touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile 2 cards from your graveyard. If you can't, sacrifice Egon and draw a card. Throne of Death, black for a legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. 2 and a black, tap, exile a creature card from your graveyard, draw a card. On the front side, it's a 6/6 beater that you can't reliably cast on turn 3. And on the back side, it's a neat little mill enabler that can draw you cards eventually, but it's really slow.
It's really slow. Mill 1 every turn is awful. Codex Shredder does that. That card's not playable.
It's interesting in the command zone. It's not good. I think it's interesting to have.
Interesting might be a better word because I think this card's really bad. Honestly, I think BZ fought for the 3 because I was really low on this. I don't like this card at all. I think you have to jump through way too many hoops to get a 6/6 on the front, and on the back, 3 mana draw card. Again, jumping through hoops.
Yes, I love the lore of this card. This card, it doesn't have much, but it's the God of Death who ages backwards, and he has the bitter demeanor of a teenager. How is that not amazing?
He has the bitter demeanor and looks of a teenager.
Yeah, he just looks like a 17-year-old who like doesn't want to be here, but he's an ageless, immortal god.
I imagine that he's an anti-masker.
What? Because he's a teenager?
I don't know. He seems like that kind of guy.
He's not wearing a mask in his art. We'll have to assume. A lot of scumbags on Kaldheim.
Up next, we have Agar, the Freezing Flame, right above Horde and Ocean, right below Krond. 1 blue-red, 3/3 legendary creature, giant wizard. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, if a giant, wizard, or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card.
Talk about uniqueness. Excess? The word excess goes on magic cards?
Yeah, other than, like, that's all 5 points is pretty much like the excess damage thing, which is on another card coming up. But other than that, it seems fun because, like, you can just be like, blast act.
Draw a bunch of cards. It'll get you your card back, and it's only 3 mana. And unlike Egon can get you your card back and is also only 3 mana, but this has the ceiling is infinitely higher.
I mean, this character, Lightning Bolt could be playable in a deck like this.
Yeah, it's cool. Kill a 1/1.
Yeah, you get to go play your Lightning Bolt, kill something, draw a card. Like, that's super good. That turns all of your bad removal burn spells into card draw, replacing itself and letting it do it again.
Yeah, this deck is going to... I feel like this deck needs Agar in play, or it's going to have some problems.
Yeah, this deck is going to storm off really easily. But Agar is 3 mana. He's not out to play.
Not that bad. I mean, he will die, I think. If I'm playing against an Agar deck, I'm like, okay, kill that. All right, I'll kill it again. You can draw a couple cards, but it's got to go.
They're just gonna, you just wait. You be safe. You wait for like turn 5 when you can leave the 2 mana up, get the card back, and then you're like, you're not sad about dying because it already replaced itself. You feel fine.
Totally. And next up is Narfi, Betrayer King, above Grothama the Worm and below Sapling of Kolfanor, sitting at 454. He's like right in the middle. 3 black, blue for a 4/3 zombie. Other zombies and snow creatures you control get +1/+1, and you can pay snow, return him from the battlefield to play.
Yeah, I think this card's really bad. It just doesn't really do anything power-wise. Again, it's a Lord's End deck, right? It's only for zombies? What was the other thing?
And snow.
And snow. Okay, that's even, talk about narrow.
Yeah, it is. This card got its points from the lore, which we'll talk about, and I think there's a little something going on with his repeatable recursion, but the fact that it's snow makes it, you're not going to go infinite unless you have some kind of snow creature that can make mana, but I don't think there are any. And either way, it's not like this easy thing to go infinite with. You can get recursive value, though. So do you remember the lore?
I don't remember the lore.
I'm the lore guy. This is why I'm the lore guy. So he was approached by Valky / Tybalt in disguise. Spoiler alert, I guess. It's literally on Valky's card, so not really a spoiler. He trades gold and riches for kidnapping the actual God of Lies and locking him away in a dungeon so Tybalt can go do shenanigans.
Yeah, I think Tybalt just approaches him and says, lock him away, and then he goes and causes chaos.
Yeah, I guess the God of Lies can't be like, hey, imprison me, but this me.
Imprison the other me. This one was this art. I loved this art specifically.
Stellar.
It just looks so cool. He looks so scary. Like, also he's holding a skull. He's Night King-esque. BC described him as.
Oh yeah, from like Game of Thrones. He's holding a skull in both arts, but it's so much intenser in the other one.
And that one, yeah, I mean, he looks like a skeleton. He looks scary. I do honestly think his card is poop, and there's nothing fun to do with it though.
I wish it was better because I love the art.
The art is really good, and the flavor is super good.
Next is Verigoth, Blood Sky Sire, above Ib Halfheart, below Prava from Commander Legends at 4/3/9. 2 and a black for a 2/3 Demon Rogue with Death Touch. It has Boast. 1 and a black. Target player searches their library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts that card on top of it. I'm falling asleep. Just this is not that bad, but it really just bores the heck out of me.
It's pretty good. I mean, if you're able to get the attack through, which you should be able to, it shouldn't be too hard. You get to activate this every turn. Maybe you want to reduce it. I don't know. This card seems pretty good to me and pretty strong. You're just going to get your best draws every turn, which is going to lead to you probably getting ahead if this thing doesn't die quickly.
This card is good because it's not itself, right? There's nothing about this card other than the Vampiric Tutor that I care about, right? It's even risky. It's going to be hard to make him survive if people are putting up defenses.
Yeah. His lore was nothing. I really like his art. I love I'm just going to, just in case you've probably noticed already, but I'm just going to put the showcase arts up because they're all very, very, very good and very awesome.
In almost every case, they're better.
Yeah. This one has the like matte red sky in the back.
Oh, yeah.
It looks so cool. Like it looks like a blood sky and it's awesome.
I'll be the lore guy and you'll be the art guy.
I love this one so much.
All right. Next is Carter Doomscourge.
Look out for Carter.
Yeah, just Carter.
It's Carter.
Above Damia, below Audric, Lunarch Marshal. 417. 2 black-red for a 4/3 legendary demon berserker, which certainly sounds cool. When he enters the battlefield until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able, and attack a player other than you if able. Whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1, and you gain 1. Little Rakdos life gain.
Goad. It goads is what it does. All the creatures you don't control have to attack. This is going to create hectic in combat. It's going to deal a lot of damage, and if not causing a lot of damage, it's going to cause a lot of creatures to die, which is going to cause, a lot of life loss.
Of all the commanders so far, I think this one has the coolest deck. Like, there's the most to do. Like, when if you look at a card for like 2 seconds, you're like, all right, what would go in this deck? This one, I think of like, this and this and this and this, and I get sparks of inspiration. There's
a lot of ways to go with it. It's very good. I mean, making everything attack and not attack you is super strong. It's going to send all the creatures on the board in one after each other, which in most cases, when you play this, it's going to be sending think of somewhere between 10 at the low to 30 damage going at other players at the table.
Yeah, it's especially depending on how creature heavy your meta is. It could be, this card could be insane. We gave it a 5 for power. 5 usually means it's going to do something when it enters, or have of all the commanders, it's going to have an average decent effect on the game. 4 and below starts to not really be a threat, but 5 and up this is a threat.
Yeah, it's an actual threat to the game. It's scary. The funny thing is it's not a threat after it comes into play. It's just a threat when it enters, but you can't stop that because it's already entered.
Right, and I think black is very good at sacrifice, return to hand, or you can even find ways to blink it.
Yeah, or reanimate it. Put it in your graveyard, bring it back, get that trigger again.
I'm going to issue a one-time pardon for including Conjurer's Closet in your deck, because that seems pretty sweet to me.
Literally every single turn you get to do it over and over. That's pretty good.
There is no combat that is not pure nonsense.
Yeah, and nothing can attack you.
Yeah, that seems pretty cool. All right, who's next?
Why, it's Vega, the Watcher, right above Sidisi Undead Vizier, and below Norin. 1 white, blue, 2/2, flying. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card.
This deck would be kind of neat.
It'd be interesting. You'd be doing, Flashback would be one thing to do. All the Foretell cards are going to draw you cards. Stuff like that. You just want to not cast cards from your hand. The sad thing is, it's better than 99, but we're talking about it as commander, because in the 99, whenever you cast your commander, you draw a card.
Yeah, it almost kind of reads like one of those partners from Commander Legends, like Falthus, where you're oh, it's legendary, but I don't want to play it.
This card is better than 99, especially in any flashback deck or anything that's taking advantage. If you're doing tons of foretelling, you're doing that. Vega's awesome because you just get to draw extra cards just for doing your game plan.
Yes, although as a commander, not very good, a little lackluster. It'll draw you a couple cards. Svella, Ice Shaper, 394, above Okagachi and below, spoiler alert, can't tell you because it's another new commander. 1 green, red for a 2/4 Troll Warrior. 3 tap, create a colorless snow artifact token named Icy Manolith. With tap, add 1 mana of any color. Best token name ever. 6 red, green, tap. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may cast a spell from among them for free. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. This card is cool.
This one's... Is it cool? I don't know. I think this card's okay. It's just weird. It makes Icy Manolith, that's a terrible name.
That's amazing.
It's so weird. How are we going to tell them that it's snow? Icy.
Icy? Did you try putting icy in front of it? Oh, yes. We've solved our issue.
Oh, yes. Icy Manolith. Just like if Uro was printed in this, it'd be Icy Uro.
Icy Uro. I wish we would have had Icy Uro or maybe Icy Oko. It's low power. I just love the design of it. I think it's cool that it fuels itself, but it's really slow. It's really slow. Although that last ability is actually real. You could cheat out some serious stuff.
It's also pretty unique. I mean, it's a spin of Aetherworks Marvel. It's less cards, but it is a spin of Aetherworks Marvel, which is super strange to me because, what other card really does that?
Yeah, it's 8, but it also fuels itself a little bit. If you don't have anything else to do, you make a Signet Mana Rock. Sorry, what could I call it? Manolith. How about that?
Yeah, what about... But it's snow. It makes snow mana.
Frosty?
Icy.
Oh, all right. Okay. And the art's great. As always, Next.
Oh, he's like super intense in his art. Like he's so intense. Like he looks so calm.
Or she, I don't actually know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're sitting, but then they're like, I'm going to rip your face off.
They're sitting like making, like sculpting ice, and then they're like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, the art direction was like, a troll stoically sitting on a rock. And then it's like, a troll causing the end of the universe, ripping everyone's throats out.
Stoically causing the end of the universe.
Yeah.
Can you do that stoically? Probably.
Next.
We have Megda, Brazen Outlaw, above Svella, below Otrimi the Ever Playful. 1 in the red for a 2/1 legendary creature, Dwarf Berserker. Other dwarfs you control get +1/+0. Whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token. Sacrifice 5 treasure tokens. Search your library for an artifact or dragon card. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. This card's not half bad at all. You just gotta tap them, put them in vehicles. I think that's actually one of the main reasons it says tap and not attack, is because they want dwarves to have vehicle references but there's not vehicles on this plane.
There's a couple. There's a few. There's like, they want dwarves to be vehicles and equipment, I guess.
Yes, they want you to attack with them because this one's a berserker. So berserk that it goes and finds dragons.
Or an artifact. Like, what's the best card in your deck? Because it's coming out for free and instant speed. Although it requires some setup. You can't just stick this as the helm of any red deck and expect it to do a ton. Not a lot of red cards that make treasures either.
Yeah, it's like dwarf tribal. This goes in your... You want to put this in the Pala deck.
Ooh, yeah. Better there. She has absolutely no lore. I find it embarrassing. Next is Lathral, Blade of the Elves. Above Naban, below Heliod, God of the Sun at 361. Yes, Lathral, not Cathril. 2 green, black for a 2/3 Menace Elf Noble. Whenever Lathral deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens. Tap 10 untapped elves you control. Each opponent loses 10 life, and you gain 10 life. That's a lot of numbers. I think this card is the best one we've seen so far.
Yeah, this card's very strong. I mean, you just got to go wide with elves. It's Elf Ball Commander. Makes extra elves. If you augment its power and get a nice hit in, you can just make the 10 elves all by itself. You tap those elves, you're gaining life too. So even if you're leaving yourself vulnerable by tapping down your team, oh, wait, you still gain 10 life.
And one thing I wasn't even thinking about that elves are really good at is untapping elves.
Yes. It's super easy to do. There's a lot of ways to untap other elves, and you can just go crazy with this.
Yeah, this is cool. This is one of the main commanders that I'm looking at. I'm like, ooh, that's really cool.
Elf Ball has been done a million times. It's the only reason I'm not super excited about it is I've seen Elf Ball so many commanders, so many different ones. I guess this is one of the first like green-black ones to be excited for.
Yeah, if you ask me, and you kind of are, I don't think there was a green-black Elf Ball deck before Kaldheim.
Sure, that's fair. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. She's got no lore.
No, she's an old kind of revered elf from the past who like did some good stuff, I guess. Yeah. But she isn't as good as anyone we're about to talk about. Yeah,
she's not, and her uniqueness, again, Elf Ball, boring.
Yeah, not treading a ton of new ground other than the 10s everywhere.
Next we have Korvoli, God of Kinship, above Rick, Steadfast Leader, and below Sliver Queen.
Rick and Sliver Queen.
329. 2 green legendary creature God. As long as you control 3 or more legendary creatures, Korvoli gets +4/+2 and has a vigilance. 1 green, tap, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a legendary creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. On the other side, we have the Ringheart Crest. 1 green for a legendary artifact. As the Ringheart Crest enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Tap, add a green mana. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type or a legendary creature spell. Well, I think that the back of the card is pretty much blank. We don't really want to play a bad Signet at Pillar of Origin. No, thank you.
I like that it's there. It definitely makes this card better for being there. It's just that most of the time probably not what we're going to choose. Especially since, then our commander's just kind of stuck in play not being our commander.
Yeah, which is not what we want. This is like some weird mono green legend. Seems kind of fun to do. Like build your mono green legends deck, kind of dig for them. That'd be fun. I don't think it's strong at all. Again, these arts, so insane.
So good. I can't even describe it.
Yeah, and I think this is pretty unique. What other mono? There's like one other mono. Isn't there like a mono green legend that draws when you cast the legend?
Reki, History of Kamigawa.
Yeah,
that's really the only other one.
That's like the only other mono green legend. I mean, Rocky goes in this deck for sure.
That's not what you meant, but you said it's like the only other mono green legend. There just really aren't that many we've done. There's 1,000 commanders, wizards. Please, come on.
It's like the only mono green legend commander. There you go.
Legendary creature payoff?
Legends matter commander.
Okay.
There you go.
Got there. Next is Kosuma, God of the Voyage, above Toshiro Umezawa and below Umori, the slime ball. 284. 2 and a blue for a 2/4 god. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile Kosuma. If you do, it gains whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. If Kosuma is exiled, you may put a Voyage counter on it. If you don't, return it to the battlefield with X counters on it and draw X cards, where X is the number of Voyage counters on it. Or, it's the Omen Keel, 1 and a blue for a vehicle. It's a 3/3 with crew 1, and whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of their library. You may play land cards from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled. I have a lot of questions, but they're all, what?
This is a really, really weird card. 1, why in God's name is a blue card care about landfall? What is that?
The vehicle only lets you play lands. It's a creature/vehicle, which is like already 10 for uniqueness. You know, the weird stuff makes it unique, people. So I just don't think you're getting much. You're going to exile it early, play a bunch of lands, play fetch lands, play Mirror Landscape, and then kind of like draw 8 cards, but it's very delayed.
It's very delayed. It's very slow, but it does the thing kind of well. You also have to get back to your upkeep just to exile it. If they get rid of it, you just think it's never doing anything.
But once it's exiled, you can just go do it. There's no way to stop it.
That's not true. What if I process it?
There's no good way to stop it.
That's fair. Yeah, that's absolutely true. There is no good way to stop it. There is no good processors. It seems kind of fun. I'm not really super excited. What does this card do?
Her lore was pretty interesting.
Didn't she help?
Her boat can cross people, help people get where they want to go and cross bodies of water. And she lent the Omen Keel to Kaya and a bunch of people to search for the monster.
Well, wasn't supposed to take her to a specific location, but instead took her to Vorinclex?
No, it was supposed to take her to Vorinclex, but took her somewhere else.
Yeah. It took her towards Loki.
Yeah.
Or Tybalt, yeah.
Tybalt.
Yeah.
Loki? That's not in the set. What are you thinking?
Yeah, Valky.
Totally different property.
Yeah, Valky is totally different property.
We don't have copyright to Marvel stuff.
Right.
They stole the Norse gods.
I don't think Loki is copyrighted by Disney. Not positive about that one.
Not positive. Next is number 280. It's Halvard, God of Battle, above Hoki Doki Dust Drinker and below Paco, Arcane Retriever. 2 white for a 4/4 god. Creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. At the beginning of each combat, you may attach target aura or equipment attached to a creature you control to target creature you control. Or it's Sword of the Realms, 1 and a white for an equipment. An equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has vigilance. And when the equipped creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. Equips for 1 and a white. I think there's some power just in, hey, my equipment matters, commander, can be an equipment.
Yeah, that's absolutely super cool is that you can either give your creatures double strike with all those equipments, or instead on the other side, you can just get an equipment for when you need that extra equipment.
Yeah, if you've got a draw card trigger or some way to bounce Halvard, maybe you can play him on either side over and over. That would be kind of funny.
Mono white equipments matter is not unique, but it being an equipment on the other side is super unique. It gets a 7 almost on that alone.
How many commanders can we name, not from this set, that say, all right, I can cast my commander, or an equipment for less mana from the command zone?
Yeah, that's what's really cool. This set has very unique commanders in that they have 2 sides. It's super unique.
And the art, he's a badass. Just like everyone on this plane is an eternal badass.
They're so good. I mean, again, these are all on screen. We're not talking about them. We're kind of going over them. It's incredible how good of art they did for this set. These showcases, I think, seriously, the best, if not the best, the most consistently awesome ones.
Seriously, if you took the average art grade from, like, we average them all out. The average is probably like a 9 for art. And
high.
If we averaged out the total points for a given set, this would have to be the highest, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, these are all getting, the lows are like 5s in the set. That's like the lowest of the lows. But almost all, 8, 9, 10. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm serious, I think most of them got a 10.
Yes.
That's how good the art is.
Next is number 268. It's Sorulf, Realm Eater, above Morag and below Liliana, Heretical Healer. 1 green, black for a 3/3 wolf. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Sorulf. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Sorulf has 1 or more counters on it, you may remove all of them. If you do, exile each other non-land permanent with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of counters removed this way. This looks pretty sweet.
This card gets big fast. Like, it's very, 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 very easy to just get it up to like a 10-10. And if you ever want to wipe the board, just take those counters off. I do think this card would be super unfun to play against. You're going to be scared of advancing your board if you can't remove this. And that's not fun.
It's not fun to play with or against. As the player, I want to do the surreal thing. I'm not going to get to 80% of the time, depending. If they're onto me, I'm just not going to get there. I mean, but it is 3 mana, no mana investment on your part for the rest of the time he's out, which is what makes it so good.
Yeah, you're going to want to put in ways to protect this card. I'd be sure about that. I think Heroic Intervention is probably needed in a deck like this, where you're just going to be like, wow, I really don't want this guy to die, because people are coming head first for it, because they know that they can't even play out their board states if I'm having him out for 3 or 4 turns.
How about Malika Rebirth? That's another good one.
Malika Rebirth. That's actually probably the best one for this deck, because that card is great. Get your Malika Rebirth. Like, I think they're 95 cents. Pick them up now. That card is great.
Yes. Also, I think even maybe just straight up Unearth would be good in this deck. Just let him die. Bring him back for 1.
I like that too. Yeah.
Oh, I love Unearth. That card is awesome. Any excuse to play Unearth.
You always loved Unearth.
Yes, Serulf is based on Fenrir. He's the other realm eater from Norse mythology.
Yeah, he's a big old wolf, and he's pretty cool.
Orange legs.
Orange legs.
Big orange legs.
Orange legs. That's all we got.
Next is Odin. It's Alrund, god of the cosmos, 2/3/6. He's below something secret, but he's above Gishoth, Sun's avatar. 3 blue for a 1/1 god. Alrund gets +1/+1 for each card in your hand and each foretold card you own in exile. At the beginning of your end step, choose a card type, then reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put all cards of the chosen type into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Or he's Haka, Whispering Raven, 1 and a blue for a 2/3 bird with flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, return it to its owner's hand, then scry 2. This is a creature or a creature.
Or a creature.
No, just 2.
Hear me out. Or a creature.
Yeah, there is that. I don't think this is very good. I think the Raven's kind of a miss for Commander.
Yeah, I mean, it's just smoothing out draws, which I said that, and B's like, what is this, a limited? I'm like, oh yeah, that's not that great.
Yeah, wait, it's scry 2.
Yeah.
We were making fun of Ingo Runai's.
Yeah,
what if Ingo Runai's returned herself to your hand?
Yeah, the thing about that is, like, at least like that, you always get to put it on turn 2. You get to hit, you get to scry, and then you get to have him for your like turn 4 or 5, whenever you're gonna get to him.
As a bonus, the Raven it's not blank, because you could, when the commander tax gets too high, save a couple mana, play the Raven, attack, then bounce and play him for 5, the side you actually want, but you get to maybe pay a reduced cost.
Yeah. Also, when the front side is the one that costs more, if there's anywhere to flicker it, you can play this for 2. Any flicker spell, have him come in as the other side.
Oh yeah, so you can get him out on like turn 3.
Yeah,
with doing stuff, and he's like gonna be an 8/8.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not nothing. Those aren't like insanely strong things to do, but they're cool things to do for sure.
Speaking of cool, he's Odin. He's freaking awesome. I love his alternate.
His eye is in the Raven.
1 eye missing. It's in the Raven.
Right. He just shoved. I don't know where he put it in the Raven, but
in the eye.
No, I assumed he like just shoved it in the belly.
Here's the problem. Did he take out the Raven's other eye? Because that's kind of mean.
I like to think that he just like he's magical. I imagine he had the Raven and he just like kind of combined them magically.
He found a stray Raven who was missing an eye.
No, it wasn't missing an eye.
No, it was missing both eyes.
He
he gave it one of his eyes.
He didn't give it the eye. He combined it magically with his eye.
Okay, I don't know. We can just go to the next one. Burgee, god of storytelling. Above Alrund, god of cosmos, and below Niv-Mizzet, Dracogenus, at 2/35. 2 and a red for a 3/3 god. Whenever you cast a spell, add red. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Creatures you control can boast twice during each of your turns, rather than once. Or Hardenfell, Horn of Bounty, 4 and a red for an artifact. Discard a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library? You may play those cards this turn?
I'm not sure why BZ's so excited about this card, but the front side is really, really strong. This is an 8 for power, which if you don't know, 8, 9s, and 10s are incredibly good cards. This is a build around though, because she only wants to be Storm specifically. You want to be casting as many cards as possible over and over again. It's just some kind of crazy win con you got.
Yeah, every cantrip that's red and does something stupid and then draws you a card is great in this deck. It's going to end games pretty quick. It's going to at least filter through your deck at lightning speeds and then die.
Yeah, this card, I just don't think this card's fun to play against. It's probably fun to play and do the storm thing once or twice, but I think thinking down against this, it's just going to be one of those, kind of like the wolf, where I have to kill that.
Right. Gotta kill it. There's a lot of gotta kill it commanders in this set.
Yeah, there is, and this is definitely one of them. This card's really strong. Well, the lore, doesn't she tell stories?
She's really good at it, though.
Dang.
She's really good. She's a god.
She's a god she's a god of telling stories?
Yeah, and that's about it.
It's pretty unique. I mean, again, you got a horn on the other side that's pretty good, and she's a storm commander.
Kind of bummed. I like the horn a lot. I think that card's really cool. But I think if people see Burgee, they're going to say, oh, that deck. Maybe you build around the horn. That's like a whole other deck. Because it is a discard outlet for free.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely something. I mean, I'm not super excited about it, but if you bring Burgee, you better no. I brought the horn deck.
I'm playing Hornfell. I don't even know what it's called.
Harnfell.
Harnfell. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. You forgot that like 3 or 4 times now.
The horn's name will forever escape me.
Next, we have Orva, the all form. Above, Carador, Ghost Chieftain. Below, Estrid, the Mast. 191. 3 and a blue for a 3/3 changeling. If you don't know, that's Misform Ultimist. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. Whenever a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, create a token that's a copy of target permanent.
This was our most requested card that we omitted from the top 10 in the set, and I gotta say, I don't really see it. That last ability is actually nothing. It's flavor text.
It's pretty good. I mean, he's not great. There's cute things to do. You're gonna make lots of like copies of permanents you have. I mean, know what card is good in this? One of your favorites. What? Slip Through Space.
Oh, baby. Slip Through Space. This feels like blue Burgee, just in terms of the spells you're going to play, like stupid blue cantrip that draws a card.
Yeah, but that's the target stuff that you do, which...
A lot of them do.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like you're not going to feel too bad about playing an Aqueous form when you get a copy of whatever you're targeting.
Yeah. There's this high potential to go crazy and have a lot of cool, fun things.
The art's weird. I did want to mention that because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we would have given it a 10, but we actually can't decipher what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. There's like, I see the tentacle, like from his other, he has a tentacle in the other art.
Is it an octopus? Is it him?
He's like real scary. Stop being so scary.
He's a little spooky. He
is pretty unique though. What else does anything like this? Like, being discarded, you get this weird effect that like I've never seen before.
You can't, that's irrelevant. That does not even really factor in because how are you going to discard your commander?
You gotta have somebody else. Oh yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. So like the uniqueness only factors in as far as it's relevant. Like if a card just said gobbledygook all over it, but it didn't actually translate into gameplay advantages, then it's nothing.
It's kind of like Feather, but when you do the Feather thing, instead of getting the card back, you get a copy of that permanent.
Yeah, it kind of is like that.
It's weird to think about, but
yes.
That is what it is. Moving to the next one, we have Jorn, God of Winter, above Roshin Meanderer, and below Sir Gwyn. 2 and a green for a legendary snow creature, God, 3/3. Whenever Jorn attacks, untap each snow permanent you control. On the backside, we have Caldrig, the Rhyme Staff. 1 blue-black, legendary snow artifact. Tap. You may play target snow permanent card from your graveyard at this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield tapped.
Ooh, Sultai Snow.
It's a Sultai Snow commander, which is really interesting. I don't think it's like incredibly strong, but when you attack, you get to like Baramba. You're going to get to untap all of your lands, which is going to be cool because that's just how you're going to build the deck.
Yes, this card all the way up at number 108, and I will say, we're not done. If you saw the thumbnail and the title, like there's some big cards from the set.
There's a big shakeup in the top 100. Kaldheim. I think the art really just is pushing these cards so far. Thank you, Wizards, for this great art.
Wizards is like trying to hack this list. Like, okay, well, art is something that the card doesn't control. So let's make them all amazing and see what happens. He's pretty sweet. I like the staff more than him, but even him, he's untaps all your lands.
Yeah, you know, you play like 3 spells before combat, attack with him, untap all your lands, play like 3 more spells.
Yeah, and if you play the artifact, it's pretty hard to answer. If you play him, he's only 3 mana. You do have to untap to get the thing, but it's not like a game ender.
Not at all. I mean, this card just seems strong. I mean, lots of value from the staff, getting cards back from your graveyard. Yeah, there's not a ton of crazy strong snow permanents or snow cards to replay from your graveyard, but still good.
Yeah, lands can be snow.
Yeah, if you have a way to like maybe put them in your graveyard or replay them. I don't know.
You just need extra land drops now.
Fair, yeah. You do just need extra land depth. That wouldn't be too bad at all. For uniqueness, I mean, he's like our only real snow commander, let's be honest.
There's nothing focused enough that I care to list as a snow commander, so Jorn is it.
If you want to play Sultai Snow, this is your guy. Get your Ice Fang Kodals for $7.
Get your Dead of Winters for probably more than $2 now.
They're up to like 6 or 7.
There's Blood on the Snow. There's a couple other ones.
There's a ton of snow cards. Get them while they're hot.
Yeah. Next is Finn, the Fangbearer. He's at 94, above Riel and below Selvala Explorer Returned. Is 1 and a green for a 1/3, has Death Touch. And then he says, whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. And if a player has 10, they lose.
This card is really, really strong. If 5 Death Touch creatures sneak through, somebody just dies. Even if they're dumb, stupid 1/1s.
Even if they're at 1,000,000 life, even if they've killed Finn 5 times and then you recast them again. And the worst part, or the best part if you're the Finn player, because this card is an 8 out of 10 for power, you just got to hit each player once, and then you can probably just proliferate them out.
Yeah, this card is really strong. And every game, this is a 2-drop. With Death Touch itself, it comes down every time. If you think that every player is going to have a blocker by turn 3, they are not. Somebody is just getting poison countered right away.
Do you know how many functional reprints of Sedge Scorpion there are? 1/1 green creatures with Death Touch. That's your turn 1. Then someone's getting 2 poison counters on turn 2.
They could get 4.
Well, play it on turn 1 and then turn 2.
You could get 6 poison counters on turn 3.
Right, you can poison each player on turn 3.
That's insane.
That's pretty sweet. I love this card. Looks really cool. Death Touch Tribal has never really been a thing with a leader until now. This is a pretty high incentive.
The 99 person that they're talking about for this is just a random thought. I know we don't really talk about what they do in 99, but what is her name? Hapatra.
Hapatra. Oh, you mean if she's the commander and Finn's in the deck?
Yeah, that's just a random thing people were talking about. I thought that was also interesting.
Well, in his deck, it's Bow of Nylea and Orin Frostfang. Now all your creatures have Death Touch. Make tokens and kill people with them.
Bow of Nylea spiked to $20 because of this card.
I think it was a buyout or something. I'm sure it'll fall.
It might fall down, but it was $20 for a 60-cent card.
Yeah, and I think it's still a 60-cent card. It's just really good with Finn. And Finn's lore is he fought the World Serpent, which we still haven't gotten to because there's so many more to go, and he didn't die. That's the first person to ever do that, and he wounded it.
He taunts him because he's just a big jerk. He's like, yeah, you, come fight me.
You don't want a rematch, you little baby?
You stupid baby snake. What are you, a baby?
And then Coma cries. He does the Love Struck Beast cry. There are still 7 more commanders above rank 94.
That's insane to think about. Last thing about Finn that I want to mention. This is stupid unique.
Oh, yeah. Poison counters on a legendary creature? What is the only other one? Skitherix, right?
The only reason that is it's because it has the ability Infect, which does poison counters. This just does poison counters.
Yeah, this is one of the only 3 ways, I think, that someone could even get a poison counter. There's Poisonous, Infect, and now this.
How many poisonous cards are there?
Like, none. That effect was stupid. I think there might actually be one more. There was like an old snake card that did it that Poisonous was based on.
Also, if this was worded the way if they were still going to use Poisonous as a keyword, it would say your creatures have Poisonous
2.
Creatures you control with Death Touch have Poisonous 2.
It's so dumb. All right, now the next one up is Essika, God of the Bridge. Above Pier, below a spoiler, there's another god right above her. This is at number 40 out of all commanders. Number 40. 1 green for a 1/4 god with Vigilance. Tap, add a mana of any color. Other legendary creatures you control have Vigilance and the same ability. Tap for any color. Or it's the Prismatic Bridge. Wooburg for a legendary enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or planeswalker. Put it onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom in a random order. Needless to say, this card is not very powerful, but the rest of the numbers are very high.
Yeah, exactly. This card isn't that powerful. I think the back is the coolest part of this card, not even close. I love the idea of just paying the time, getting the Rainbow Bridge or whatever it's called.
The Canadian border.
Well, I was thinking the Rainbow Road, you know?
Oh, Rainbow. Whoa, she's holding the Rainbow Road.
She's got Rainbow Road. That's where Mario goes go-karting.
Yeah, and then you can have the Rainbow Road deck. It's like, no guardrails on this road, baby. You're going to fall off.
Gotta be careful. This is super unique. I mean, it's a legendary enchantment that lets you basically kind of polymorph-ish stuff.
Not really polymorph, just for free you get something. I'm sure that's called something. It's almost like Cascade. It's just whatever the first thing is, you get it for free. It's a creature or it's a Wooburg enchantment. Like I don't want to just hand out 1,000,010s for uniqueness, but that's ridiculously unique. Nothing does that. Nothing is a creature or a Wooburg enchantment that throws planeswalkers in the battlefield for free.
Yeah, these are not things that we see. This is not real. I think
this is not real.
This is not real. I was thinking about it. So we're getting like all of these gods here with all like the enchantments and the stuff, and the gods are flipped on their side. I think what we're going to get in the next set is, because we're going to wizard school, is we're going to get wizards with spells on the other side.
Oh, yeah, they haven't done that this time.
Yeah, they're not doing spells. These are permanents.
Yeah, they're really spacing this out nicely.
Yeah,
the MDFCs.
Yeah, the MDFCs are really cool and super unique. Again, maybe in 5 years, maybe in like 10 years, we have to redo this whole list, because what is unique is no longer unique. Well, they've done MDFCs 100 times now, guys. You're really going to say it's a 10 because it's just an enchantment?
Yeah, it's another MDFC that untaps all your snowlands. I mean, how many times do we have to read this card? Okay, who is above Essica?
It is Toralf, God of Fury. Number 39. 2 red for a legendary creature, God, 5/4 with trample. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, Toralf deals damage equal to the excess to any target other than that permanent. On the other side, we have Toralf's Hammer, which is 1 in the red for a legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature has 1 red, tap, unattach it, deal 3 damage to any target, return the hammer to its owner's hand. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 as long as it's legendary. Equip for 1 in the red.
It's another kill it or you might die commander.
Let's be very clear. The front side is awesome, cool, uniqueness off the charts. It's excess damage. You can deal that damage anywhere. This card is super cool too. It is Thor. This card is really awesome. And I think the fact it's okay. One, I was gonna say we didn't put it high enough. No, we put it number 39 of commanders of all time. This card is awesome.
It's really interesting space for mono red. Let me tell you, Blasphemous Act is not the only instant game winner that is in this deck. There's a lot that deal excess damage. There's Chandra's Ignition. There's there's the 4-mana one, Arc Trail or Arc Bolt or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Chain Reaction.
Chain Reaction. I think that's what I'm thinking. And there's 5+ that are going to deal too many damage, and it's going to be like, oh, I'll kill you all. Star of Extinction, 20.
It doesn't even have to be that insane. I'm just going to say things like, what is it? Anger of the Gods is going to deal a ton of excess damage. There is going to be plenty of creatures that are just going to die to that. It's just, especially depending on your meta. If you play against a token deck, holy crap, they have like 6 1/1s. All right, maybe they're playing Scoot Swarm. They have like 32 Scoot Swarms. All right, 2 extra to each of the 32 Scoot Swarms.
They should hold Scoot Swarm. I don't know what they're doing. I think something else you can do is damage doubles. Replace the effect with more damage.
Yeah, you can add extra damage.
How about Anger the Gods want to deal 6? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, inside this deck, I wouldn't feel bad playing, what's the dwarf? Torbrand.
Yeah, Torbrand. Totally.
I don't know why I was doing this. Do you know
Torbrand?
You know Torbrand.
The 2/4, Torbrand.
Yeah, the Torbrand. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Torelf. Shout-outs to Arena Boy Torelf.
Yes, shout-outs to him. Also, this art is hilarious. There's like a cartoon skeleton.
Yeah, on the special version, some dude is literally getting like Looney Tunes electrified.
Yeah, he's getting Looney Tunes electrified by the hammer, so he's literally a skeleton. It's perfect. It's so perfect.
In the best way. Next, number 28 of all time, Coma, Cosmos Serpent, above Emrakul the Promised End, and below Rakdos, Lord of Riot. 3 green, blue for a 6/6 legendary serpent that can't be countered. At the beginning of each upkeep, you get a 3/3 blue serpent named Coma's Coil. Sacrifice another serpent, choose 1, tap target permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated this turn, or Coma gains indestructible until end of turn. And I know one thing we have to get out of the way before we forget. There's a 3-card combo. It is Coma, Herald, and Castle Ardenvale.
Yeah.
Because then you have Harald and Coma visit Castle Ardenvale.
Visit. They don't go to
They
don't go to the White Castle.
They go to the White Castle.
Yeah, that's way better.
Harold and Coma visit the White Castle.
They go to it.
Okay. Yeah, this card's really good, though, memes aside.
Yeah, this card is super strong. Serpent Tribal. We've been asking for this for... Okay, joking aside, I mean, you just get one every single upkeep. It's super hard to kill. You have to kill it with things that exile, or you have to get like Toxic Deluge the board. It taps stuff down, locks players down a bit, can stop them from like having as much mana as they would, can protect itself. That's so good.
Yeah, I like this with Changelings even. If you have a Changeling out when this is out, it's just indestructible.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, this thing is just hard to kill, and that's awesome. It has to survive an upkeep.
But it's not a busted card. It's really good, but this isn't winning you the game. It is gonna, clock in for 3, 6, 9 every here and there.
I mean, I went over this math before when we talked about Coma. This card comes down. If it survives a round around the table, you now have 18 power.
Not bad.
You spent 7 mana. That's really good, and
there's a lot of frills.
It's spread over 5 bodies
with a lot of extra stuff. They all do stuff.
Yes, it's not just like you got power toughness. You got power toughness that can tap down stuff. You got power toughness that can protect the big board.
Yeah, it interacts. So Coma, total like home run. Card's amazing, and yet still not the best commander in the set.
Yeah, it's also very unique. Like we're making one. We get to tap down their stuff.
Sacrifice a serpent.
Yeah. It's colon. It's each upkeep. There's not many of those. This is like, especially on a legend. Do we have any legend that triggers each upkeep?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't think we do.
It's not worth thinking about because there's either like 2 or none.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's very low or none.
Yeah, exactly. And the coolness. I mean, this is the world serpent, baby.
It's a cosmos monster that used to be in all the realms, but it got kind of trapped and sequestered into 1 or 2 or maybe some kind of space in between.
It used to be able to roam the realms at all times.
Yep. All right. The next one, but not the last one, is Tasky, Bearer of Secrets at 26, above Rakdos, below Ulamog. It's 3 and a blue for a 1/1 squirrel. Indestructible, can't be countered, and whenever a creature you control hits an opponent, you draw a card.
This card is really, really powerful. All you have to do is sneak your creatures through anyway. Doesn't matter how. They can have trample. They can be tiny 1/1s that you don't care about losing. And you draw cards. This card gets so much value immediately upon coming down.
And it's really tough to kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1/1 indestructible. And it's not even expensive once it dies once. It's 6 mana at that point.
Right, then it's an immediate effect. And now it's still indestructible. They're still going to have to jump through some hoops to kill it. This is also great with Bow of Nine Leela, too. It's like, maybe that's why the double-edged inclusion.
Yeah, it is very good with Bow of Nine Leela because he has to attack every combat if able.
Right.
So. My favorite comment about this card that makes it a 10 for coolness, no doubt. 1, it's a legendary squirrel. First one of those we've ever gotten. He's got a long tail that's got all the secrets of the realm on it.
Yep.
And my favorite thing is he's 4 mana and he's a 1/1. He's got the 4/1/1.
He's got the 4/1/1 and all the secrets from Kaldheim.
That's so good.
Shoutouts to whoever commented that.
I don't know if Wizards did that intentionally, but I absolutely love it. If they did that intentionally, Wizards, you're my new favorite game.
Your mental processes are so bizarrely similar to ours that we have to love you.
The 4/1/1? Come on now. I think it's incredibly fun on top of all that too because
it's not miserable. It's just card draw.
You're just going to draw a ton of cards with a bunch of dummies.
It's not like Finn where, hey, you lose. It's, hey, I drew 3 cards.
Yeah, exactly. I hit you with 3 creatures. I drew 3 cards. Not I hit you with 3 creatures. 2 more and you're dead.
You're 60% dead, and I'm going to proliferate next turn. That's some nonsense like that.
Yeah, and there's not really much like this other than, what, Trask or that guy? What's his name?
Edric, Spymaster of Trust.
Edric, Spymaster of Trust is the only card really like this, but this isn't symmetrical. It's just you.
Yeah, there's a couple effects like that, but not on legendary creatures.
Yes, he's the first of its kind.
Okay, we still got a couple more. Who's next?
We have Teargrid, God of Fright, above Ramos, below Brea. Number 15. 3, black, 4/5, Menace. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. On the other side, we've got a much less exciting card. It's Teargrid's Lantern, which is 3 and a black. Tap it. Target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. 3 and a black. Untap the Lantern. We don't care about that Lantern. We care about this front side, which is incredible. Oh my God. Cast Smallpox with this card. You get 3 creatures are sacrificed, you get them. 3 lands are sacrificed, you get them. They discard any permanent, you get them.
Yeah, that's really good.
This also just wins the game with a Death Cloud for anything over like 3.
I never really... This is the card easily that I've had to read the most because I look at something like It That Betrays, where this effect I'm used to costing 12 mana and being worth 12 mana. This is 5 mana. It's better. It can be your commander. I just had to read it so many times. I'm like, there's no way. You just get them? Oh, is it until Teargrid leaves? No. Discard 2? Any permanent. This card's insane.
This card is absolutely insane.
Kill it or you lose.
There's a million good cards. Like I said, Smallpox, Pox, Death Cloud, Awaken the Ernst Wild.
I don't know, Thoughtseize? What if you just Thoughtseize somebody?
Thoughtseize even.
That's pretty cool.
The fact that Thoughtseize is even a thought to be playable in the EDH, the card's got to be strong. If you're thinking about playing a poop stick like Thoughtseize, that card is real bad in EDH. I think for fun, your opponents aren't going to like this card. It's not a fun card to play against at all. It's just not.
It's not maximally unfun, but it's pretty annoying.
I mean, yeah. Have you ever had sacrifice your fetch land? They get it. No, stop that. I don't like it.
Or your fetch land doesn't work and you missed a land drop. Neither of those are pretty good, but you gotta kill Teargrid or you are done. There is no question. How about a wheel? All right, I'll draw 7. You guys can draw 7 too, but I'll take everything you just discarded.
So Teargrid has to keep her lantern to keep her shadow at bay because her shadow's like an evil monster that'll try and kill her.
Her shadow is a complete vicious killing machine. She's the god of fright. I love that.
And the shadow just goes around having a life of its own, killing things.
That's cool.
Dang, that is really cool.
It's like something really bad happened to Peter Pan. His shadow just went off on the worst possible.
So here's something. The front of this card is a 10 for uniqueness itself. It also has a backside.
Yeah, which is an artifact.
That
does the weird kind of like Nicol Bolas choose your fate thing. And it is noteworthy. It's kind of cool that the choose your fate thing synergizes really well with the actual front side.
Yeah, I think that's intentional. I think those are it's more for like
standard.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more for 60 card formats where you can have 2 of them where it's like, okay, I've played out this legend, I have it. Well, now I'll play the lantern.
You can go. It curves lantern into Teargrid.
Yeah, and then you activate it, and they probably going to be like, I'll lose 3 life.
And I'll lose 3 life because I don't want to lose this game. Okay, there's still 2 more, and you probably know what they are by now, I think, and you'll definitely know what the last one is, presumably when they read the second last one, Joe.
So, coming in at, drumroll please. I don't know if you guys can hear that because I don't know if the mic picks it up. Number 4, because you guys voted it. Vorinclex, Monstrous Raider, above Yawgmoth Fan Physician, below Quark the Thumbless, and below 2 other cards?
What? Number 4? You thought you were voting for the number... You thought you were voting for the number 1 card.
4 green for a 6/6 trample. That's Colossal Dreadmaw, baby. It also has haste, and if you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. If an opponent would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put half that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead, rounded down.
Notably, rounded down means they don't get any if they try to put 1.
Yes, they get diddly squat.
Yes, this card it's a strong card. It's not busted. It's not the best card in the set even. Power level, like rock solid 7 though, because it's going to come down. It's going to smack somebody probably, but it's doubling season on the command zone. You can just 2-card combo this for a win.
Yeah, exactly. There's tons of great planeswalkers to ult that you just put down the ult right away. Yeah, you're only a mono green, but you don't have to even do crazy stuff like that. Any counters that you're working with are going to be insanely buffed up by this. You have any creatures that enter with like 5 counters. How about they enter with 10 counters?
Yeah, I mean, slap down an Ugin. Game over.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. I'd say that's pretty good. I forgot colorless planeswalkers are also green.
Yes, they also count. I mean, and it also cares about, unlike doubling season, the pluses of planeswalkers will double as well. So you can maybe even go for like Karn Liberated because he'll +8. And then you just ultimate next turn.
Yeah, this card is very, very good. I think it's a 9 for fun, and I want to say the 1 point lost is the worry of doubling season. I don't think the other stuff it's doing is crazy. I think getting extra counters is really strong. I think doing any other kinds of like extra poison stuff, all that kind of stuff is like whatever. It's strong, but the fact that it can just play a Planeswalker and 2-card combo to win, that's kind of boring.
Kind of turns this into like a little bit, hey, if you have to kill something, probably kill Vorinclex because you might just die.
Yeah, so we give it a 10 for art. But first thing, the regular art's very, very good. It's probably would have got an 8 or a 9 by itself.
Yeah, honestly, I underrated A, how good this card was, and B, the art. When it came out, I'm like, oh man, they did my guy dirty. Nope, it's awesome. This card is better than the original, I think. I think they actually nailed this.
The showcase on top of it is super good. It's been up on screen the whole time. Vorinclex is like ripping something apart. It's gross. Okay, and this I didn't know. We're going into the lore here. Vorinclex, well, we already know the past. He's super cool, all this stuff. But he was on Kaldheim. Tibalt came to Kaldheim for whatever reason. We don't know.
Stir up trouble.
Stir up trouble because that's what he does. Vorinclex was already there. Tibalt didn't bring him.
Nope.
Vorinclex was already there. And Vorinclex said, took him. And he's basically said, he infected him, it said.
He infected him. What does that mean? He infected him and was like, all right, you're going to be a distraction for me. I'm going to go complete this plane real quick. You just cause as much crap as you want. And he's like, oh, that's what I was going to do anyway.
So the Phyrexians, from what we know, they have moved from planes, which is insane.
I have talked about this so much. I thought it was really stupid that they're trying to get, they introduced planeswalking for non-planeswalkers. I'm like, okay, either there's an infinite number of planes and technology is so advanced that planeswalking should be completely normal for any creature at this point because infinite planes in a multiverse, infinite citizens, cultures working on technology to planeswalk. I'm like, either they should never do it or they should always do it. And now they're like, oh, planes have discovered how to planeswalk and it's happening.
I'm thinking it's Ashiok working with.
It could still be Zombie Venser and his ship that he was working on.
It could be something else. I think it just makes sense that it's Ashiok. Like, they knew about other planes, but they weren't really able to go. But Ashiok is able to
When he pieced out, he's like, oh, the who now? What is that thing? An Elspeth's Nightmare? I'm going to head out to New Phyrexia.
Yeah, they did do that. Also, Vorinclex, didn't Vorinclex get his leg chopped off?
He got his leg cut off, and then he melted into goop and willingly and fled.
What Kaya is hunting. We don't know where that's going yet.
We don't know if he's alive or dead. They're fighting. They're going to continuously clash. I don't know if that story card is the end of the confrontation or the beginning when they fought, because Kaya doesn't have her axes in that artwork, so we don't even know.
Yeah,
maybe Vorinclex doesn't even die. Who knows?
I think Vorinclex is going to die. I think that is what's going to end up happening here. But it's also another possibility I could see happening is they can't find Vorinclex because he's able to get back to Phyrexia. When he flees. And that's the other option, I think.
And there's just so many questions. He's actively completed and infected and killed numerous animals and people. Is it the same type of infection? I know someone was saying it's different from the oil on Mirrodin, which is what, Mirrodin was an artifact and everything was metallic, so that let Phyrexia take over super easy. Mm-hmm. I think it's a different type of infection when it's not like Mirrodin, when it's an organic being. It's
interesting. I don't know. I don't know enough about that, but again, we just spat and talk about that. A dog out of 10 for coolness.
Yeah, we're not even close. We didn't even scratch the surface. We don't want to ooze when we got one more commander to go, and it's above Vorinclex.
It's above Vorinclex. It's actually the number one, brand new. This is not. No lie, number one. We went over this a couple times to double check, make sure none of these numbers were too high, that we truly believe these numbers were correct. And his name is Valky, God of Lies. And on the backside, the part we really care about, Tibalt, Cosmic Imposter. The front side is 1 in a black for a legendary creature, God, 2/1. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals their hand. For each opponent, exile a creature card they reveal this way until Valky leaves the battlefield. X: choose a creature card exiled with Valky with converted mana cost X. Valky becomes a copy of that card. And on the other side, we got the exciting part. Black-red for a legendary planeswalker, Tibalt enters with 5 of loyalty. As Tibalt enters the battlefield, you get an emblem with you may play cards exiled with Tibalt, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. +2, which would mean he plus the 7, exile the top card of each player's library. -3, exile target artifact or enchantment. -3, exile target artifact or creature. -8, exile all cards from all graveyards. Add red red, red.
This card is so deceptively strong. Emblem plus you now drew 4 cards permanently.
It comes down, it is 7 mana. That is a hefty cost. If you can cheat it out and you want to ritual out, it's worth it for this card because it is drawing 4 cards. You have to realize it's from your opponent's deck, so maybe there's not as much synergy as drawing an actual 4. Still incredibly strong, gets them back right away. Plus it's to 7. That's not an easy number to get rid of right away. If he hangs around another turn, he pluses and draws 4 more cards. If there's a huge threat in the field, you exile it, and then you play it under your control.
The front side is a 2-mana creature, which can easily be played from the command zone. Now, if it dies, you can put it into your hand or on top of your library and then cheat out Tybalt with Cascade for free on like turn 4.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that is real and is easy and will negate commander attacks a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's incredibly good. Like, if you cheat it out at all, it's going to feel like cheating. It's just, you're going to be like, holy crap, how much advantage did I just get? I mean, sometimes you're going to get lands, but guess what? You can play those cards.
Whee! There's no restriction. This card is amazing. It's one of the best planeswalkers in the format already, but it's stapled to a legendary creature that's disruptive and lets you see everyone's hand right away, which is super valuable information. This card is ridiculous.
It's one of the best planeswalkers we've ever had in the command zone, like, power-wise.
That's all we talked. That was all just the first thing. That was all just power, which is the only non-10 he got. How fun is this? Are you kidding me? We're casting their cards, and we're not stripping them from their hand. We're just taking them from their deck.
Yeah, Volky takes from their hand, but again, that's not. It's one, not even permanently.
It's temporary, yeah.
Yeah, and 2, we're not playing Volky that often. We're playing Tybalt, baby. That's what it's here for.
Wow, it's just this card. I was not expecting it to be number 1 because we don't actively, look to make something number 1.
No, it just happens.
Take it as it goes. We didn't expect Get Rogged to be number 1.
No, if you had asked me before this list, I would have never. I would have guessed the Traxa maybe.
Yeah, or Thrasios, or one of those lame ones. The art, there's 3 different versions, so there's really 6 artworks for this card, and they're all really good.
You pick the one you like. I don't like the really realistic one.
I'm cool with all of them, honestly.
I don't like the way Tybalt looks. I don't like the way Volky looks on that one. That one's not my. I don't like that one. Love the showcase art.
The original Tybalt is my favorite.
The original Tybalt you like?
Yeah, I just love. He's like, he's really cool silhouette.
Yeah, he's
like planeswalker poses are probably pretty tough. They're all just this, but he's like that's totally his personality.
He's revealing himself. I love it.
It's really really cool. I love the art. How about for coolness? What does Tybalt do? First of all, he's a meme.
Yes, above all of anything, this card, his first card for Tybalt was red planeswalker, terrible plus, terrible minus, terrible ultimate. Terrible card. Mm-hmm. Like, he became a meme among the Magic community because he was just so bad.
Yeah, they tested out a 2-mana planeswalker. They were way too cautious. Not even that was a mistake, but we got to make fun of it.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, the card was very bad. And there's nothing wrong with making bad cards. There's going to be bad cards in Magic. But he just became a meme in the Magic community. And he came back eventually in War of the Spark. Mm-hmm. He didn't do too much like on the War of the Spark story.
Yeah.
His card was just okay again. At least it was tenfold better than his old one.
Then after Roll of the Spark, he just decided to bully Chandra and like kidnap her mom and just make her feel miserable about herself.
Didn't he torture her mom?
Tortured her mom. I don't know what Tybalt wanted to torture Chandra with, but she didn't even. From what I remember, she didn't even really come out on top. She was just at the end. She was like, "All right, I'm better than this. I'm a really strong person." Like, oh, Tybalt's kind of a jerk. And then he's on Kaldheim, trying to cause destruction, and he's trying to cause doom scars where 2 realms collide and like kill hundreds of thousands of people. He's trying to make them all collide.
Yeah, he's intentionally causing chaos.
He's getting everyone ready for a war that isn't happening, but it's going to because now they're all ready for it.
Yeah, he's causing chaos because Vorinclex told him to,
and he was going to anyway.
Yeah, and well, in the thing we read, it said luckily for Vorinclex, Tybalt didn't need much convincing to cause chaos.
Yeah, he was just going to.
Yeah, that's something he just does.
Yeah, I love that Tybalt and Vorinclex, like, not exactly the duo villain pairing I was thinking. Like, hey, what do you think the 2 villains are going to be? They're characters we've seen before. Probably Vorinclex and Tybalt.
Yeah, I was thinking both of them. And the very last thing that it got a 10 for is its uniqueness. Again, Planeswalker creature. We don't really have any of those. Well, we do. We have the crappy ones. Okay, so that's not that unique.
MDFCs, we have 0.
of MDFCs, but we do have the creature planeswalkers.
Not that
flip.
no effortless planeswalker or creature.
Yeah. So, but besides that, he get an emblem when he enters, and any card he exiles, and all 3 of his abilities exile, you can play until the end of the game because you can't lose that emblem ever. It's not interactable.
They can't take cards out of exile unless they're playing bad cards.
Yeah, and who cares if they take 1 or 2 cards out of exile if you have 10 exiled?
Just completely amazing card. I love the design. They nailed it. They just completely nailed it, and I totally deserve number 1.
Yes, and Tibble, who would have ever, if you told me, let's just say, if you told me 2 years ago, the number 1 commander, when
all time,
the Viking set comes out.
Of all time,
when the Viking set comes out, will be Tibble. I would have been like, what? Tybalt?
He's like, they've laughed at me for too long. He went back to his lair and he was stewing. He's like, I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them all.
Yeah, you got to, what did somebody say today? You have to watch out who you pick on in high school.
Yeah. It's coming for you. This card is good and it's going to kick your butt.
This card is great. And I can't wait to build it.
Yes, we're going to do some more Tybalt content.
Yes, you will see that hopefully next week. But that's the video.
Finally.
That was a long video. I understand. I'm going to be up late editing this one for you guys. You better appreciate it.
Yeah, you better love it. So like and subscribe. Check us out. We love our patrons. They make the video possible. They're all poopy babies.
Yeah, we love you all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable. Seriously, every single one of you, every time we get a new person, it helps. It helps so much.
It really helps. It helps more than we can communicate. Also, let us know if you want to see that spin-off film, Harald and Coma go to Castle Ardenvale.
Yeah, go to the White Castle.
Castle Ardenvale.
Just say the White Castle.
Well, I was using the magic version.
Yeah, but you just say the White Castle because we've determined that it's Castle Ardenvale. It's the White Castle. That is not legendary. There's lots of castles in Ardenvale.
We'll do that spin-off movie at some point, I'm sure. But there's a link in the description for you. It's our TCG Player affiliate link, which means if you click it and buy cards, we get a kickback on the order. Literally all you do is click the link and then just go about your business like you went to the homepage, buy your cards.
Yeah, get whatever card you were already going to get a Tybalt because this card's awesome.
I think it'll go up. I don't even know what it's at, and I think it'll go up.
My plan is definitely to get a foil showcase.
Whoa, yeah. I can see you keeping this deck for a while.
I mean, this is one of my favorite things to do, play opponents' top cards.
It's a reliable, good, with potentially a lot of fun, cheesy strategies in between.
I love it. I love this card so much.
It's amazing. And just totally deserving number 1. I don't know what to say. Do we have a tidbit about our lives? A Tybalt about our lives?
A tidbit about our lives. I'm building Tybalt deck.
Yeah, Joe's building a Tybalt deck. We're going to talk. Are you going to build the one we did?
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to do the aristocratic one that I wanted to do.
So talk about that since we're not going to do a deck track on it.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do I'm going to play, I think I'm going to play ritual effects to start. Like, I think I'm going to do things like that. I think I'm going to put things I'm going to put the altars in for mana.
Like Phyrexian and Ashnods?
Yeah, just to ramp out Tybalt. And then on top of that, like, there's going to be some aristocratic feels. You're going to get lots of creatures down just to block for Tybalt.
Yes, and I would take it the cheaty, goofy way.
I think it's still going to be good. I think the way I'm going to cheat out is I'm going to play like Dark Ritual. I'm going to play it 2 turns earlier, and I'm going to feel great about it.
Oh, yeah. Dark Ritual. Oh, no, I went down a card. Oh, look, I'm up 4 cards.
Yeah, exactly. I love it so much.
And it's so excited. It's turn 3 or 4, so nobody can attack it.
I actually, a card that I saw you put in the deck that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm playing a red-black aristocrats that I get to play. Mog War Marshal. You get 3 bodies. That card's actually pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah, like 3 bodies for 2 mana. That's a lot of bodies.
That's a lot of bodies. What's that one infomercial? That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of bodies.
It's a lot of bodies. Yeah, and those bodies are going to hit the floor.
When Tybalt comes out on turn 2. But we're done.
Peace out, Tribe Scout.